Buffs Nation, we're here. We're back at it. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Want to give a quick shout out to both Miss Jennifer as well as Marcus Davidson being here in the chat immediately. Always appreciate that. So be sure to hit that like. Let me know in the comments who's listening and where you're listening from. And I'm blessed to be joined weekly with Rob the Man Media again here. How are you doing today, man? Thanks again for your time.
Man, it's always a blessing, being out here with you, David. Talk Buffs, man. Appreciate you. I got to give a shout out to my boy Caleb Mathis. Appreciate the love, the tickets. That's my guy, man. So I appreciate Caleb Mathis for sure. I got to get that shout out. If I don't get that shout out, man, it would be wrong with me. But man, appreciate my guy Caleb Mathis, man, for sure.
That's what's up, man. He got you tickets to the next game, or what's the details? Can you expand?
I had just finished up a live, and Caleb was like, "Hey, bro, you want to go to the game?" And so I had tickets, but it was better tickets that Caleb had, because I was in the students fan station right behind Colorado. So yeah, shout out to my boy Caleb Mathis, man. Appreciate the love, man.
Man, well, I love that, man. Isn't it such a cool community, man? And just getting to know, just so many people, the players, the parents of players, coaches from all over the world. I mean, especially with your show, Rob. Again, for those of you who have not seen Rob's show, you got to get into it. Before we dive into some of the specifics around CU, Rob, can you just give us a little synopsis of what your show is like? Because it's unlike anything else that I watch here on YouTube. That's for sure.
So on my channel, we have a daily show every day. I bring on different people. And it's like a panel discussion. So I feel like you're in the barbershop, or for the women, feel like you're in the beauty salon. Just kick back, chilling, having a good time, man, and just talking, football. We do talk about other things outside of football, but for the most part, we talk about football. We talked about CU, what we expect. So just if you got an opinion, you ain't got to hide in the comments. You can pull up to the show and just have a conversation with it. So it's always fun times when you pull up to the show. You never know who's going to be in the building. You never know who's watching, anything like that. So with that being said, I have a bunch of people pull up, former college players, high school coaches from different states. They drop nuggets about any and everything. So, hey, you want to know about recruiting? You want to know about anything that's going on CU Bus, man? You just pull up to the show. You might learn something that you didn't know.
Oh, yeah. And if you haven't met Old School before, you're definitely going to enjoy it on Rob's show. That's for sure. Just like J. Dot said, it's chaotic. Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get. People are mentioning Old School right now, man. I love it. But Rob, man, let's get into this. Let's go ahead and talk real quick. Just recapping this weekend with the game against USC. Of course, didn't get out to the ideal start that we were hoping for, but definitely a lot better game for the Buffs in the second half. What were your thoughts on the game? Maybe specific players that you were pretty happy with or proud of with their performances? Let's just start there.
So before the game, I said, Amari Miller will have a good game. I even said, Cormani was going to get out on that field some way, somehow. Didn't know how many snaps he's going to get, but that was something I predicted before the game. Just knowing some behind-the-scenes things, but things like that. But outside of that, man, I feel like he's going to get out to a better start. I feel like, us missing that early field goal, that would have made it 7-3, changed the game a lot, because we make that field goal, that game is different.
Totally.
And so when you take those Rams into play, it's certain things that could have changed that game in the first half tremendously. But we spotted them 14 points at the end of the day. Us not spotting them 14 points, that game is completely different. CU wins. And those are the things that we got to take into account, as we look at things and how we do things, is we got to get out to a fast start. We can't, keep spotting teams 14, 21 points and expect to come back every single time. The football gods are always watching. So it was a great game in the second half, but that first half, that's what we got to get better at. And this week, I expect us to get better coming up against ASU.
Yeah, no doubt. And this is kind of a side comment that I've been kind of thinking about, but you got me thinking about it, man, with this missed field goal. Okay, with all this discussion about, man, Sean Lewis is he's shaving points, he's tanking the game for the Buffs. If we're gonna be conspiracy theorists, why are we getting after our best, most consistent unit that we've had on the team and not special teams? I mean,
Yeah.
if there's any unit that should be accused of throwing games, it should be our special teams unit, right? But I mean, I don't think I don't think we got anybody like that on the team, of course. But I think that it's been funny, man. Why there's been a microscope on the offense for some of the certain things that we've seen, but a little bit more leniency for maybe some other positions or players, position groups. What are your thoughts on that?
I was. It's funny that you said that, right? Because it's something that literally got brought up on my live show earlier today about the conspiracy, and it's like, to me, it's like, how do you come up with this stuff, man? Like, how do you go out to point? How do you go out to say about shaving points? Because the spread was already covered, the over was already covered. So how could you go out and literally come out with this? Like, how? Like, I just don't get it, right? And I've seen the videos, I've seen everything that's been presented, but it's like, how, like, what made you come out and say something like that? Like, why? I get it, but why? Like, come on, man. Like, it's more than that. If anything, you could have been like, hey, they tried to help Vegas, cover the spread, but it's like, we covered the spread, we covered it over. So it's like, what else do you want in this situation? But
Yeah.
I can say Mata was supposed to be out there kicking that field goal. And you see how animated Coach Prime was on the headset about why was Feedy kicking that field goal. But hey, we all got something that we can really be mad at. I think
Totally.
that the noise of the Sean Lewis needs to be fired campaign of people have died down. But you still got those occasional fans that talk about it. But it's like, we're averaging over 40 points. What else could you ask for from the man? Like, he can't control what the defense does. But what I would say to you, right, we can't control some of the situations that we put our defense in. We can't control that. And that's one of the things that we cleaned up in the second half of when we did move the ball, possess the ball, we wasn't giving USC short fields. We were making them go out and earn it. We had some defensive players step up who haven't stepped up in the past, right? They gave opportunities to the youth, right? And so all we've been asking for, man, if the older guys ain't getting it done, get it to the youth. Let's see what they got. We got them here. Let's see what they got. We ain't got to wait till next year. Let's see. And for the young players to step up in those moments and really do some work, man, it was great to see. It was great to see them change up the defensive line rotation. You seen JJ Hawkins out there, made a couple plays. You seen D-Mac finally step up, make that key sack, which ultimately missed that field goal to give us opportunity. So we just got to clean up just the simple mishaps, and we'll be fine for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. It was great to see so many kind of new players have their moments, like we've hit on with Omarion, with Cormani. I mean, man, he was shutting down, his side of the field. I think he only had one completion against him the whole day. Really solid. Looking back and watching the game today, I kind of had it on as I was doing some work. And there's a couple players that I want to give credit to, that I haven't had time yet. Number one is a player that I've been very critical of. I'm like, man, get off the field or whatever. I think Jack Bailey had a good game on Saturday. He played much better than what we saw against Oregon. Running the ball. That was something that we did a lot better this time around. Again, seeing Shador move around a little bit, that was something that we were asking for. And I guess that this isn't necessarily a player, but going back and looking at the play calls in the first quarter, I actually liked how Sean Lewis was calling that. We just kind of had poor execution. Like there was a 3rd and 5, I think it was, where they set up a great screen to Anthony Hankerson. And for some reason, he just kind of cut back inside and got wrapped up. But there were some play calls that I actually really liked in that first half that, again, maybe change momentum if they're executed correctly. And so I need to walk back. I think a little bit of my criticism of Sean Lewis earlier in that game. I think he called a pretty good game, but it's just getting that consistent execution is what we're looking for.
Yeah, I would definitely say this. When it comes to Sean Lewis, right? When you really take back that first half, we start moving the ball and we have a penalty. Or just simple mistakes that led to why the drive didn't last. But it's different when the running backs know, they finna get the ball. And it's not an RPO. Like, I know I'm finna run this ball. And it helps out the offensive lineman knowing that they can just come out and just go blast, right? And I said this for the game, like, Barrett Alexander is not going to be who y'all think he is in this game. And it went out and proved it. He didn't make a lot of plays. He wasn't out there on the field a lot because as you get to that up-tempo, he's going to come out because he's not well-conditioned. And some of those X factors, right, that I have for the game, keep USC under 500 yards. They got to 506. Roger Ward, having, being a key person, right? I've been on Roger Ward since the beginning. Roger Ward needs to be out there on the field. That's my dog. He needs to be out there on the field. So I've been a big advocate of Roger Ward for all season long. And finally, he got the opportunity to go out there and, show his thing. Salute to, Reggie Young stepping up, with Simeon Washington going down, stepping up and, only up that one sack. That it could have been prevented, but hey, he gave one sack. But overall, he came out there, he blasted off the ball, he held it down, and that's all we can ask for, right? We got better overall as a unit on the offensive line, and when we needed to make plays and when we needed to step up and do things, we executed, and that's all we can take away from it.
Yes, no doubt. And let's talk about Roderick Ward a little bit, man. Real impressed with him, man. His speed, his tackling. Do you think we'll see more of him? I know that there's kind of been a little bit more talk about him with Coach Prime calling him out by name. Again, looking back, I think Trevor Woods has been solid for us, but looking back too, there has been some missed opportunities for bringing guys down, that really resulted in some big plays on Saturday. But how do you think the safety room kind of shakes out right now with also Miles Slusher returning?
Yeah, so here's the great thing, right? We played on Saturday and we wasn't even fully healthy in our secondary. So now you see what a Roger Ward can do. You know what Shiloh can do. You know what Slush can do. Now you get to see Cormani. Now you get to see Travis. Now you got Cooper. So our secondary changed completely now. So now it's like, who's out there, right? So the ideal lineup is you put Roger Ward out there, you put Shallow out there, you put Slusher out there with Travis, with Cormani. That's the ideal lineup. I don't care how you slice it and dice it. When we go to our nickel and dime packages, you see Cooper come in and play the slot. You take off one of the safeties, in that situation. But first and second down, I expect him to go to the three safeties. But once we go to our nickel and dime package, I expect, Cooper to come in and play the slot, or you put Travis in the slot if there's a better slot receiver. You put Travis in the slot, you have Cooper, and you have Cormani with Roger Ward and with Shiloh. Expect to see Shiloh and Roger Ward play a lot together because you got to see Roger Ward just come downhill and just go hit something, right? Yeah. If it wasn't for Roger Ward, you would have never seen once Roger Ward made that hit on the running back, you see how slow they came with running the ball.
Yeah.
It shut down a lot of things because one thing about Roger Ward is going to come down, he's going to hit, he's going to lay the wood, but he's going to give you that speed and that range in the backfield to cover any long passes if he's in the middle of the field from hash to hash. And that's what you love about Roger Ward is his versatility as a safety. And that's what that's what we're going to see a lot more of.
Yeah, man. I think specifically with safety, it's probably our deepest position that we have right now. That's how I feel. And again, forgot to mention Cameron Silliman Craig getting his third pick of the year. He's another guy too that coming back, with Slusher coming back. I mean, it's hard to determine like how many of these guys are you're gonna have on the field for every single play. But
you got to give praise to Cam, man, because Cam is playing hurt. Like he's playing hurt. Like And that's what a lot of people don't know that. Like Cam has been hurt for the last couple of weeks, and he's been fighting through it and fighting through it and fighting through it. And so you're gonna have to really take him out on the stretcher for him not to play. He's gonna play
Yeah.
because he understands like I might not get this opportunity back. So he's taking advantage of his playing time. And so the good thing is right, we're getting healthy at the right time. Everything is anticipated for the right time for the stretch run for us to go make a run. Right, we can literally win out the rest of the season.
Yes.
All we have to do is continue to get healthy and clean up the fundamental things that's missing. And so with that versatility on the back end, it gives us a lot of versatility to play a lot of different lineups. But when we first go out there, I expect Roger Wood, I expect Shiloh and Cam, and depending on how healthy Cam is, you bring in Slusher. But definitely, man. We got a lot of guys we can rotate in and out that lineup on the back end, and we are getting healthy at the right time.
No doubt. Well, let's go ahead and look forward then to this matchup against ASU. I think you said it right. There is potential for us to win out the rest of the year if we can just play a full complete game where we're playing our best. 4 quarters against ASU. We have a great opportunity to demonstrate that, and I think, man. I mean, with ASU, I think if I counted correctly, they've turned the ball over 13 times so far this year to 1 in their favor. This is a team where I think if you're able to get off to a fast start, you kill kind of any belief. But hey, if you allow them to stay in it, we've seen what happens, with CSU, Colorado State. If we allow them to stay in a game, seeing what could happen. What are your hopes and expectations looking into this week?
I was really the hardest thing right now with ASU is you don't know who's going to be out there on the field right now. You got players that quit after the game against Cal. Players quit the team.
Oh,
they got major injuries on their defensive line. At the linebacker, one of the linebackers quit after the game. So he's no longer on the team. They're in a third-string quarterback, and they got injuries all over the place. They got major injuries all throughout that team. But you can't take this game lightly. They're going to come out and they're going to compete, right? Because when you see CU is everybody's Super Bowl. That's how everybody's looking at it. Hey, we got CU on the schedule. Hey, it's Super Bowl time. They're going to put forth their best effort. We got to go and not take anything for granted, not take anything for light because they got so many injuries. You don't know who's going to be in, who's going to be out. The only thing that you know for sure is they will have number 4, the running back, and they will have number 2, their wide receiver. That's their best 2 players on offense. Everybody else is suspect. But you can't take it for granted, right? You're going to see them do a lot of running. We got to come in prepared to stop the run, force them to throw. You force them to throw, they turn the ball over. Their quarterback's got 8 interceptions on the season. They are going to turn the ball over. That's what they've done. They're, a product of their own environment. So we can't go in and take anything lightly, take anything for granted, and just go out. This is the game, put it all together, right? And going and looking into next week, right, we have to, make sure that we don't look too far that we know we got to bye, right? Because the next week is a bye. So these two, let's go knock these two out the park. Let's go on a bye. We come back. We should be fully healthy, full strength. There shouldn't be nobody keep people missing. Xavier Washington should be back. Travis should be back. A fully healthy Miles Slusher. So, we should be good to go going down the stretch running. That's what we want to hit. And this is a great opportunity to get Alto going. This is a great opportunity these next 2 games to get Alto going for sure. He's been getting more and more carries at practice.
I totally agree. And this is going to be something where, I usually don't put expectations, on the team, but it's I would like to see our offense put up another 40 plus points this week. And I would like to see our defense, get a handful of takeaways and keep that offense, to minimal scores. This back, they got Scadaboo. He's one of my favorite players in college football right now, man. He can do a little bit of everything. He's tough as nails, even though he's kind of small. But it's going to be key, man, for us to stop him. I am a little bit worried about, us putting linebackers on him constantly. So maybe with Slusher out there, maybe we might have some different coverages, but if you can stop him and truly make that offense one-dimensional, I think it should be a really good day, for the offense. But I agree, man. Sit the guys that need to be sat. This is not a time where you need guys playing injured. We need them to get healthy because, for us, I mean, how I'm thinking about it right now, there's still an opportunity to make the Pac-12 championship, even with these 2 losses, with how much cannibalization there's going to be with these teams going after each other, with how competitive it is. And so then you're also thinking, does 2 losses get you in the college football playoff right now? Probably not. Okay, you think so? You think so? Okay.
The way college football is set up right now, and there's not really one dominant team right now, right? Georgia can go out and lose to Kentucky this weekend, right?
That's true.
And then they still got the SEC, championship game where they could possibly take a loss. Now, they're trying to three-peat, but the way the landscape is laying out right now, looking at the Pac-12, so whoever comes out the Pac-12 is going to have at least 2 losses. They're going to have at least 2 losses because everybody has to play everybody, right? And so that's what opens the door for us. Now, we're going to need a USC or Oregon to get to 3 losses. We need that to happen and for us to stay at 2 losses. But there is opportunity for CU to get to the championship game.
They like that.
And USC, they still have to play Washington. Everybody has to play somebody. So there's a possibility that, you can get 3 losses. We have to win out to control our own destiny. But when you talk about Oregon and USC, there's possibility. When you look at the rest of the landscape, right, you look at Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, right, they could possibly end up with 2 losses, the champion. And I can't, so you can't count out there, right? You go to the SEC, you got Georgia, you got Alabama, you got Texas A&M, right? Somebody can end up with 2 losses. You still got Kentucky. So there's that. You go to the ACC, you got Clemson, you got Miami, you got Florida State, right? Somebody can end up with, and think about Florida State, they got to play Florida and Miami this year. So they can end up with 2 or 3. They can end up with 2 or 3 losses. And the same thing goes. The same thing goes for Miami in that situation. They still got a tough road that they got to play because they got to play Duke. They got to play Florida State. So when you look at the landscape, it is possible for a lot of these teams to have 2 or 3 losses, and there's opportunity, right? So the door is not closed yet, but we got to take care of the business that's in front of us and just take it game by game. We can't look ahead. We can't look at tomorrow. Just take it. Let's win today, right?
Yes.
We're getting healthy at the right time. Now let's put the pieces together, right? Keep 2 upright. We got an opportunity. Keep 2 upright. We got an opportunity, and that's all I'm saying.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and for any of this to happen or to have the possibility, we got to take care of business against Arizona State. We got to take care of business against Stanford. These are games that we cannot overlook as we get ready with what should be a tough test against UCLA. But I'm curious, man, from your perspective, with these slow starts, with execution and just not getting it going, in your opinion, how do you break a team kind of out of that cycle, the psychology of it? That is something that I've kind of wondered, when a team continues to get slow out of the gate, how do you just create that urgency to get them going, locked in, from the first snap?
Pre-game, right? It starts in pre-game. Whatever pre-game ritual we doing right now, change it completely. Because that's really where it starts here, right? What are we doing to get everybody? And each week, like Shedeur, right? He always warms up with Travis. Well, guess what? Travis ain't been there the last 2 weeks. Guess what? We start off slow, right? So anytime something goes off rhythm, off track, how do you fix it to correct those things? And a lot of it starts really pre-game. A lot of it starts at practice. The focus at practice can kind of tell you how we're going to start out. But what I would say, Sean Lewis, what you call in the fourth quarter, call that in the first quarter. Let's just do that. Let's just flip the game around. What you call in the second half, let's call it in the first half. Let's flip the table upside down and then work our way out that way. But nah, To be honest with it comes out with us having that motivation to start to want to run the ball. Uh,
Yes.
Run the ball first, get our offensive line, downhill.
Mhm.
Because once you start to get them downhill, they're willing to, pass block. And I think those are the things that we really haven't really focused on the last couple of weeks of like, listen, I don't care if we get 2 to 3 yards. Just run the freaking ball, right? To keep the defense honest. And that's the thing that I would say about the first half, right? Keep the defense
Mhm.
honest. Force them to come down and play man-to-man coverage. Force them to put more people in the box so that opens up passing lanes for us to go past. And they'll take care of everything. And it'll stop a lot of these sack opportunities, right? Because they're making
Mhm.
us one-dimensional. And so people just pinning their ears back and just getting to the ball. Well, how about let's just go back and say, you know what? We're gonna take a series or two and we're gonna just try to run the ball. And so
Yeah.
with playing ASU, right, there's gonna be opportunities to run the ball. Playing against Stanford, there's gonna be opportunity to run the ball. But it's gotta be your will. You gotta
Yeah.
want to dominate. You gotta want to dominate the line of scrimmage. It ain't the skill part is done with. It's all about will right now. Are you willing to go block? Are you willing to keep Shador upright? And let him get the ball out to these receivers. Get them out to the playmaker. So those are the things that we really got to focus on. The defense wise, the defense, they'll get a 3-and-out, but then our offense won't do nothing. Then they're right back on the field, and then now that's when the opportunities come when people score.
Mhm.
So our defense has got to be consistent first half. Controlling the line of scrimmage, controlling the run game, and we had some good stops against USC in the first half, but we didn't capitalize on them, and that's what it came down to. So
Yep.
capitalize on, when we get those 3-and-outs, when we get those stops, we got to capitalize.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. And I think, man, with facing Oregon and USC to to start out conference play with, I think that's going to benefit our lines
Yeah.
down the line as we go throughout the season. Especially for these next two matchups. These should be teams. ASU should be a team in which we can look to dominate um,
Yeah.
physically in the run game and hopefully, continue to see some improvement, from our units that, have been suspect from time
Yeah.
to time. I think like our defense, played a really great game against Nebraska. Obviously, they had a bunch of turnovers, held them to under 10 points, if I remember correctly. And definitely like that is what I'm hoping to see, that type of aggressiveness, physicality against, like you said, an ASU offense that is kind of, being bandaged together right now and run through Scattaboo.
I would say this: the way the schedule lays out is perfect, right? You get two opponents that are, down, right? We go on a bye, we get two tough opponents, then we get another two opponents that's suspect, then we finish off with two strong opponents. So the way our schedule is laid out perfect for us to do what we need to do, to have those mental breaks in between the schedules to get us to go finish, right? And
Yes.
so when you look at those type of things, our defense is gonna do what I do, and the player Roger Ward with Shiloh is going to change everything we're going to do defensively. I tell you this right now. What Roger Ward and Shiloh, and I've been preaching this from day one. When you go back and you look at my predictions for who's going to start,
Mhm.
I had Roger Ward as the starter next to Shiloh, penciled in as a starter. So this has been nothing but from day one that I've been preaching that
Mhm.
we gotta have the foot speed on the back end to go out and make plays. Whether that's flying downhill, whether that's in coverage, right? Shiloh and Roger Ward just plays tremendously well together, and I'm glad that people got to see Roger Ward finally hit that field. Now you're gonna get to see Roger Ward and Shiloh both together, and you're really gonna be like, oh man, it's gonna be some problems. And so it's coming, baby.
Man, I'm really excited, man, to see more of Rod Ward. I'm really looking forward this weekend as well to. I know we haven't talked a lot about Cormani, but thank God, thank the Lord, man, we don't have to answer any more of those questions. Why isn't he playing? Oh, good luck with him transferring. Yada yada yada. Man,
Man,
what were your thoughts on his performance on Saturday?
and I've been saying this from day one. Just like when I said, hey man, Cormani might not start from day one. Just because you have to get coming in as a freshman playing football, man, it's hard. It's a job. It's the things that you got to get used to that you didn't have to do in high school to the collegiate game. And once he learns those things, he's going to be great. But I always told people, man, lower your expectations on Cormani, and he's going to give you more than what you're expecting. If you put this pedestal too high, if you put too much on this kid's shoulder, he's going to fail you, because all you doing is looking for one moment for this kid to make a mistake for you to clown this kid. And so you got to take that out of consideration and just say, listen, David, trust me, I got the question every single day. And I'm like, dude, I am tired of answering questions about Cormani. Like, he's going to be good, man. He's going to be fine. He's going to play. Like, I got tired of it. But what I would say to you with this, man, if you be patient with the players on this Colorado team, it's going to take time for them to judge, to get everything figured out. And they're going to do some amazing, amazing, amazing things the rest of the season. And a lot of people don't see it, right? They don't believe. Listen, it's going to show. They just need time. They need time. And the way we end that USC game, we figuring some things out.
Yes.
We figuring some things out. And that goes for the defensive line. It goes for the linebackers. It goes for the DBs. You got to see DeMar Kennedy with Juju a lot more at USC.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, the dogs is about to let the dogs loose. They let them loose. It's just confidence.
Man, I'll tell you, man, it was I was so happy to see, man, because when I was at the game on Saturday, Cormani was mainly playing on our sideline, man. So I was able to just watch him up close. Dude, locking down top wide receivers. It was very painful to see Brendan Rice, score on us a few times. But, man, it's – I mean, he was shutting them down, man, and I just can't wait to see what he's going to do.
I'll say this to piggyback on that. You got to see the effect of the Travis Hunter with Cormani in the game on Saturday, right? We went back to the defense we was playing with Travis Hunter with Cormani on Saturday. Once it just took that pass breakup, and Cormani was just gaining confidence after confidence after confidence as the game was going on. And we got a lot of man-to-man corners. We don't have a lot of zone corners. We got man-to-man corners. Mm-hmm. So to finally get to see them play man-to-man and say, hey, guard your guy. If you make a mistake, it's on you. You can't blame it on the zone. You can't blame like, hey, man, this person. No, it's on you. So now the mistakes, you really get to see who didn't do their job, because we start to go man-to-man. And so you got beat man-to-man on the slant because you're supposed to be on inside technique-wise, and you didn't do that. It's on you. You can't blame nobody else now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say, looking back at that Oregon game, what you take out of that Oregon game versus the USC game was we had a lot of players that was hurt coming back into the lineup at Oregon, and we're trying to miss pieces that never played together all season and trying to hope that we just threw stuff on the wall and just hope that it stick.
Yes.
Versus now we had another week to prepare, to get us right, to get our minds right, to know, hey, listen, this person's going to play, this person's going to play, this person's going to play. We know who's out. There ain't no guessing around. This is what we're going to do. So I just give our defense tremendous credit for taking on the challenge. And I always said from the get-go, USC will always keep you in the game. No matter what happens, they're going to keep you in the game. You just have to make the key plays at the key moment of time. And I said this on your show, and I said it on mine. Caleb Williams was going to throw an interception. I said it. I didn't say who, but I said he was going to throw an interception.
Yeah, man. This game, again, if we can just clean up, a few of these things, man, we take care of this win, then we're already in the top 25. But, we've been expecting this team as time goes on for us to be playing better football. And I think, man, we're really going to start hitting our stride up to that peak, because it's nice that we kind of have, games, in my opinion, that we should really take care of business before we have kind of a tougher, end of our schedule, man, where we're playing a little bit more physical team in Oregon State. We're playing, we finish off the year with Utah. We got Washington State, which has surprised me a little bit this year. But again, if we're playing our best, if we're playing complete football, there isn't a matchup right now this year that I don't feel like we should win if we can just play disciplined. And I think that's going to be the key that I'm going to be looking forward to. Can we have a clean game on special teams? Can we get all the punts off without getting them blocked? Can we just hit our field goals and block correctly for our field goals? And then also, like with our offense, can we avoid these false starts? Can we avoid the, making sure that, we're all set before we, snap the ball? Kind of like these little things that we have in control. I would really love to see us play a very clean game in those aspects against ASU, because if we don't take care of those things, those are going to be the things keeping the team in it. And then they start to believe, and then anything can really happen. But I want to see us with the foot on the gas against ASU. Get rid of any of that belief on the other sideline within that first quarter, and then just handle business for 60 minutes.
So my 3 points for this month, right? We're gonna be bowl eligible by the end of this month, right? So we're gonna knock out that first goal, right? Be bowl eligible. 2, we're gonna get healthy as this month go on. And 3, we haven't even hit our peak yet. So just imagine, right? You're only seeing a sample size of what we can be, who we can be. We just getting started. So with us getting healthy at the right time, down the stretch run, we're about to hit our peak. And the best thing about it is you could play amazing at the beginning and you could peak out at the beginning and be flat going to the end. What we're doing is we're peaking up and we're trending up in the right direction. And that's what we want. Just keep trending up in the right direction. And that's what's so amazing about this team, or why we can run the table, is because we haven't even started to hit our peak yet.
Right.
We haven't started. And so the more experience, the more confidence that we get as a team to play together, we can legit finish this season out 10-2, playing in the Pac-12 championship, and possibly playing in a bowl game. I mean, in a playoff game. But, that's too far down the road. But if you take it 1 week at a time, man, we're going to do some phenomenal things, and we're about to hit our peak. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. The peak is about to happen.
Yes. And, man, you hit it. You hit the nail on the head, man, right there, man. Anything's possible, man, if you win out. And especially, man, for a team, that hasn't won a bowl game in a very long time, getting to a New Year's Six bowl. If the college football playoff isn't on the table, that is beyond any expectation that I had, in December. So, man, guys, just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the growth of, seeing this team come together, man, because yes, we got our butt whooped in Eugene, but, we've seen this team, man, leaving opponents in the game because of like our own doing. USC won because we didn't do the things necessary to play a clean game. But if we play a clean game, man, we get that win. No doubt in my mind.
I would tell you, USC got lucky because of that clock. Because if it was 2 minutes more left on that clock, it would have been a wrap for them. Because that game go to overtime, we're beating them.
No doubt, man. No doubt. So, all right. Rob, really appreciate your time, man. I got to start wrapping it up here. Got to get some burgers on the grill. Before we wrap up, let everybody know, where can they find you and what to be expecting from you later on this week.
Man, you can reach me at Rob the Man Media, as you see up there on the screen. Just type in Rob the Man Media in YouTube. You will see me pull up. I go live every day at 11 o'clock Colorado time, 1 Eastern, 12 o'clock Central, and 10 o'clock Pacific. So just pull up to the channel. We always have a panel of people up there. You never know who's going to pop in. You never know who's watching. I will say there's always Colorado players watching. So be mindful what you say. You never know. I'm just going to tell you like that. But, nah, man, it's always love. It's always fun. The rest of the week schedule, we're gonna dive deep into Arizona State. Thursday it's always we talk Colorado. Friday is prediction days. Saturday pregame. Halftime, postgame. If I'm not at the football game, so. But yeah, You can always expect nothing but content, people coming up on the panel. I mean, we just talk about everything. Today we talked about NIL, how that changes for high school players in the state of Georgia and Florida. So we got in a little bit of that. We talked about ASU. So we talked about a little bit of everything. But for the most part, man, we just kick back, have fun, man, and to really get into some things. Now, if you want some hilarious content, just wait till old school jump on, and it gets real fun.
Oh yeah, man, no doubt. Well, Rob, again, really appreciate your time. Real quick, I do have another stream coming up here at the top of the hour at 6 with Steve James of the Go Route, as well as Lawrence Collins. So we'll be talking a little bit more recruiting news, as well as getting their takes on previewing the ASU matchup as well. So please be sure to check that out here in 50 minutes. But Rob, really appreciate you. Happy to see the growth going on your channel, man. And I'm sure we will connect again very soon, man.
Yes, sir. You can expect that, baby.
Well, that sounds great, guys. Again, thank you. Take care. Hit that like on the way out. And as always, go Buffs.